na and kona is used for talking about or. The word or in English is generally translated to this, either kona when you're using verbs, this V stands for verb, kona with verbs, or ina with nouns. And it almost always means or. If you're looking for the word to mean or in English, you're almost always going to be using these two things, although there is one main situation where when you're using or in English, you do not use one of these options. But I'll talk about that a little bit later. For now, let's look at how kona and ina is used in a sentence to mean or. Now, an example sentence we have right here is 저녁에 드라마를 보거나 영화를 봐요. What book is this? This book is called Conversational Korean Grammar. So here is our kona form showing up right here. I'm just going to highlight this. That's our kona that we're looking at today. And see how it's joining to this po. This po comes from the verb 보다, which means to watch or to see. So this is when we're using it with verbs. This kona form is used with verbs. So 보거나 is to see or something else. Okay, 저녁에, this is in the evening. 저녁 is evening, and then 에 here is the time particle. So in the evening, 드라마를 보거나, drama is a drama or a TV series, and particularly Korean TV series as well, drama. So in the evening, I watch a drama, or, this is the or part, this kona, or 영화를 봐요. 영화를 봐요 is to watch a movie. It's the same 보다 here in both situations, just conjugated slightly differently. So here, the 보다 has kona attached to it, and here the 보다 to see, or the verb to watch, has or your attached to it, the casual, polite, present tense. But it's the same base verb, just conjugated two slightly different ways. All right, so in the evening, I watch a drama or I watch a movie. So that's an introduction to how kona and ina, mostly how kona works in a sentence. Let's look at some more explanation as how this works. First up, we have this little sentence. This grammar form is commonly used when someone asks you a question and you want to give several different options as a response. For example, I do this or that or this other thing. So this is a very common way that this grammar form is used whenever you want to list options. You know, if you want to say this thing or that thing, or I do this or that, this is the grammar form to be thinking of, kona and ina. And again, kona is used for verbs and ina is used for nouns. Thank you for the roses. Appreciate that. Okay, so action verbs and descriptive verbs first. To connect verbs, either descriptive verbs or action verbs, this kona can be used with both. Some grammar forms in Korean can only use one, but this one can use both. Descriptive verb is a verb, like to describe something like hot, cold, smart, tall, things like that. And action verbs are things involving actions, eat, drink, sleep, things like that. But this can be used with both types of verbs. So to connect to verbs, attach kona to the verb stem and attach kona regardless of whether the verb ends in a vowel or a consonant. I speak Spanish, but I'm learning Korean and English. My respect to you. I know, gosh, that is not easy. But my respect. That's not easy. Yeah, good job. Okay, so kona can also be used. Doesn't matter if the verb stem ends on a vowel or a consonant. You always attach kona to the verb stem. Okay, so for example, this verb 산책하다. Means to go for a walk. To go out for a walk is 산책하다. And if you're conjugating this or form, you just attach it to the verb stem, which remember is the dictionary form minus ta. That is the verb stem. So you attach 거나 to the verb stem and it becomes 산책하거나, which means to go for a walk or something else. It's not defined here what the something else is. It's just a ... I walk or something. Okay, what about this verb right here? 시작하다. 시작하다. Does anyone know what this verb means in Korean? 시작하다. If you were to translate that to English, what would 시작하다 mean? Call me, yes. It means to start. 시작하다 means to start something. So to conjugate this, it becomes 시작하거나, meaning to start or something else. 시작하거나, something. What about this one? 일어나다. 일어나다, what does this verb mean in English? 일어나다. 일어나다. It's a pretty common verb. What's a good one to know? Spiritual pie, yes. This one means to wake up or to get up. Specifically, it's that specific action you do when you're getting out of bed. When you get out of bed is 일어나다 in Korean. So you attach 거나 to the verb stem and it becomes 일어나거나. 일어나거나, to get up or something. So you just attach 거나 to the verb stem. Okay, let me zoom in a little bit and have a look at some sentences using this grammar form that we can practice together. This book is called Conversational Korean Grammar. This is the cover image of what it looks like, if you want to find it later. Okay, so let's look at this first sentence. What is it saying? What does it mean? Okay, 날씨가 추우면 산책하거나 수영해요. Okay, so it's a fairly long sentence and we've got a couple things involved. This is happening more and more as we get into level 3 and 4 and 5. As you progress through the book, these sentences get a little bit more involved and a little bit more complicated, but that's fine, right? We're in level 3, we can handle it. So let's just break it down bit by bit. First, let's look at this first part. 날씨가 추우면. Yeah, good job, guys. 날씨. What is 날씨 in Korean? 날씨. I'm going to go a little bit slower for people watching, just to make sure everyone's following along. 날씨. Call me, yes. 날씨 is weather. 날씨 is weather. And this 좋다, 추우면. This is a combination of a verb 좋다 and 으면. What does 좋다 mean in Korean? This is the verb 좋다. Good. ODP. Thank you. 날씨가 좋다 is the weather to be good. But we have this 으면 here, and that is the if or when form. It's the conditional form. 추우면. 추우면 means if or when something occurs. So in this case, it means if or when good the weather. If or when the weather is good, I do this or this. This is where we're listing our options. One thing we do is 산책하다 or we 수영하다. And I see people already saying the answer, so good job. And 산책하다 is this to walk or thing. So to walk is 산책하다. So I go for a walk or I 수영하다. And 수영하다 is to swim. So if the weather's good or when the weather is good, I go for a walk or I swim. All right. Let's look at this example as well. This one right here. 일요일에 청소하거나 세탁해요. David Hertz. It can be either. 으면 can be if or it can be when. It can be translated both ways. Depending on the sentence and the context, it can translate both ways. Does the book teach verb stems? Yes, it does, but very simply, what is the verb stem? It's quite a simple concept. It's just the dictionary form of the verb minus 다. So you take away 다 from the dictionary form. This is the verb stem of the verb to be good. All verbs in Korean end in 다 in the dictionary. 먹다, 보다, 가다, 줬다. So when you take away 다, you're left with the verb stem. Wouldn't it be 좋을 때? So in this sort of situation, you can use either 좋을 때 or 주면. You can use either one, and the sentences basically means the same thing, just like it does in English, right? You can say this two ways. You can say, if the weather's good, I go for a walk or I swim. You can also say, when the weather is good, I go for a walk or I swim. And Korean is the same. You can say things two ways. You can use 으면 or you can use 올 때 here. But here, just for whatever reason, it's 으면. Okay. So, back to this sentence right here. 일요일에 청소하거나 세탁해요. 똑같은, yes, it doesn't have the exact same meaning, and we do talk about that in more detail in their respective chapters. When you learn 으면 and when you learn 올 때, you learn a little bit about the subtle ways that they're different. But in a sentence like this, it's basically almost the same. Not exactly the same, but almost. Okay. 일요일에 청소하거나 세탁해요. So, what is 일요일? 일요일. Does anyone know what this word means in Korean? 일요일. It is Sunday. Rose and Dream. Perfect. Sunday. And we have 에 here. This is the time particle. So this means on Sunday. On Sunday, I 청소하거나 세탁해요. So now we have on Sunday, I do two things, or one of two things. On Sunday, 청소하다. What about this one? What is 청소하다? What does that mean? It's not a super common word, but it's a good word to know. It applies to a lot of people's daily lives. To clean, 어질래, yeah, thank you. To clean. And 청소하다 is specifically kind of like, it's kind of a big clean. So like the vacuuming, the sweeping, the dusting, it's kind of all of those things. To clean your house is 청소하다. So, you do cleaning or you do 세탁해요. What about this? What does this verb mean? 세탁하다, 세탁하다. This one is also kind of related, a similar kind of chore. 어질래, yeah, thank you. Laundry, washing clothes. So there's a couple different ways to say doing the laundry in Korean, including 세탁하다. You also have 빨래를 하다. As well, but in this situation we've used 세탁하다, 빨래. Yeah, 빨래 is also very common. But in this situation we've used 세탁하다, and that's what you're saying. So on Sunday you clean or you do laundry. On Sundays I clean or do laundry. That was certainly my day today. I was cleaning and I was doing laundry today, and today is Sunday, so that definitely applies to my day today. Okay, so what book is this? This book is Conversational Korean Grammar. Here is the cover, in case you want to see what that looks like. This is how the cover is. It's a bit zoomed in, but you can kind of get a good sense of what the cover is. On Sunday, I was cleaning or doing laundry. It is present tense, which implies that it's something that you are doing. But yeah, those are all the right words, vocabulary words. Okay, nouns. So we looked at action verbs and descriptive verbs, right? Let's look at how it attaches to nouns. We have the attending ina. Yes, both languages are difficult. 둘 다 어려워요. 어렵지만 재미있어요. It's difficult, but it's interesting. Where did I buy this book? I got it from Amazon, so that's available there. All right. With nouns. Okay, if the noun ends with a consonant sound, you attach ina. So, for example, 선생님. 선생님, what does this word mean in Korean? 선생님. You can translate it to one word in Korean. This is kind of a difficult word to, munchi, yes. Munchi literally means teacher. It's a little bit more complex than that in Korean. 선생님 can be used really as a title for anyone that you want to be very formal towards, but literally it means teacher. And this book is called Conversational Korean Grammar. 선생님 means teacher. And because it ends on a consonant sound, you can attach ina, and it becomes teacher or something. Again, whatever the or is referring to is not supplied here. This is just to practice this conjugation. Because it ends on this mium, this m sound, this consonant sound, you attach ina. Whereas, what about this? News. What does this mean in Korean? This is actually an English word, so it's not a trick question. News. The news, yes. XD star, yes. The news is the news. And because it ends on a vowel sound, you just attach na. News, na. News or. Same with this one. Stress is stress in Korean, and it ends on a vowel sound, so stress나, stress or something else. All right, so let's look at an example sentence. Let's look at this first one that starts with 먹으면서 드라마나 영화를 봐요. Okay, so what is about this first part? Let's just look at this first part here. 먹으면서. Let's look at 먹다. What does 먹다 mean in Korean? This is the base form of the verb. While eating, yes. Yeah. To eat, yes. 먹다 means to eat. And when you add 으면서 to the end, 먹으면서. This 으면서 ending means while. While. So while eating, this book is called Conversational Korean Grammar. 먹으면서 means while eating. We learnt about 으면서 in a previous chapter before now. But this is essentially what 으면서 means. It means while or during. Okay, so while eating, I do one of two things. I 드라마나 영화를 봐요. What time do I do my live streams? Usually around this-ish time twice a week. 드라마. Drama is drama. A TV series or drama series. What about this? What is 영화? 영화. What does that mean in Korean? 영화. Movie. Yes, perfect. So here we're connecting two nouns, right? Drama or movie. These are both nouns. So that's why we're using na. Here, we used corn. This is a little bit different. This is also using poda as well. But when we're using verbs, you use kona. But when you're using nouns, you just use na. 영화 is a noun. So 먹으면서, while eating, 드라마나 영화를 봐요. I watch dramas or movies. 한국어 시험은, it's not a test necessarily, just practice. We're just practicing. And Korean uses SOV. No, it uses SVO. English uses SOV, but Korean uses SVO. Isn't movie? You could probably say movie in Korean and people would probably understand you. But what I've typically learned as meaning 영화 is movie, is 영화. But chances are if you used movie in Korean, people would probably understand you because there's a lot of English vocabulary being used in Korean. Okay, how is it different from 떠는? 떠는 also it like literally means also. Also this. So when you're using na or kona, kind of like how in English, right? The difference between saying or, all, also. You know, I watch movies, also I watch dramas. Or you're saying I watch movies or dramas. It's a slight difference when you're using or. It's like generally you're doing one or the other. You're not generally doing both. So like in the evening, you usually watch a movie or you watch a drama. You don't necessarily watch both. Yeah. While I'm eating, I do this or I do that. But not really both. Okay, and let's look at this last example as well. 음식이 너무 매우면 물이나 우유를 마셔요. Okay, so what's happening up here? Let's look at the first clause first. There's two clauses in this sentence. The first clause says 음식이 너무 매우면 음식. Something milk. Yes, milk is involved. What does 음식 mean in Korean? 음식. This first word here. 음식이. Food. Yes. Rosendarim. Yes, that's what this means. 음식이 너무. Food. This 너무 means too much. 너무 is too much or very or really. 음식이 너무 매우면. Okay, now this 매우면 comes from two things. It comes from the verb 맵다 plus 으면. So this verb 맵다 means to be spicy. But it is a bierp irregular verb. It's an irregular verb, which means that it conjugates a little bit fancy. It conjugates a little bit fancy and becomes this when it interacts with 으면, which we learnt before is the if or when grammar form. So when if or when it's spicy is 매우면. 매우면 is if it's spicy or when it's spicy. So the food, if the food or when the food is too spicy, 물이나 우유를 마셔요. So what is this first one? 물. If the food, yes. I see people already getting the right answer. Water, munchie, yes. 물 is water. And then here is our ina, our or. So water or uyu. What about uyu? What does uyu mean in Korean? Milk, yes. So 물이나 우유 means water or milk. One of these two things, 물이나 우유를 마셔요. And 마셔요, of course, means to drink. 마셔요 means to drink. So, when the food is too spicy, I literally just ate a bit of jalapeno. So, I literally just ate something really spicy. Whew, oh my gosh. Okay, 음식이 너무 매우면, when the food is too spicy, 물이나 우유를 마셔요. Usually it's not, jalapeno is not super spicy, but okay, anyway. This is how you can use na and ina or kona with nouns and verbs to mean or. Okay, so now I do want to quickly mention that there is one situation in English where we use the word or, but you don't use kona or ina in Korean. And that is when you're asking people to make a choice. If you want to ask someone to make a choice between multiple things, for example, you want to ask someone, do you want to drink milk or water? Or do you want to go to the movies or, go to dinner? Or do you prefer cats or dogs? In all of these situations, when you're asking someone to make a choice, you do not use na or kona. You do not use na or kona when you're asking someone to make a choice. When you're using a choice or asking someone to make a choice, you use the 중에서 grammar form to do those things. So, if you use na or kona in those sentences, this or that, people will understand you, but it's just not super natural. So, we haven't learnt this grammar form yet. It's actually taught in level 4 and we are in level 3 right now. But just keep in mind, if you want to ask someone to make a choice, you need to learn about this grammar form first. So in English, we would just say or, right? Do you want to do this or that? Do you want to eat this or that? But in Korean, if you're asking someone to make a choice, you use the 중에서 grammar form, not this grammar form. But this grammar form is used a lot for things when you're listing options. I do this or that, or I, in the evening, I like doing this or that, those sorts of things. 아니면. 아니면 is like if not, literally. 아니면 is if not. So that's used in things like, do you like this? Or if not, how about this? Or do you want to eat this? If not, use this. This is used quite a lot, and it's actually translated to or a lot. When I see 아니면 written in Korean, I often do translate it to or. So it's another good one to know. It's used like or a lot in English, but slightly different. It's a combination of 아니, which means no, and if. Okay, so that was kona and ina.